What up, fangirls and fanboys? Corrigan and Heather Feather here, the world's most fearsome fighting team, bringing you episode 11 of Electric Fancave on electricfeast.com. Last week we talked old school Ninja Turtles with some Vanilla Ice action. This week we're talking the brand new movie trailer released just a few days ago. We'll discuss J.K. Rowling's latest foray into being the richest author in the history of time. We'll listen to Wil Wheaton give the best response ever to a little girl who's sick of being called a nerd. And we'll watch a couple hilarious Les Mis things to make your week less miserable. See what I did there? Plus, in this week's YouTube-only Fancave Extra, we'll talk about the season finale of The Walking Dead. Or Heather will talk about it, and I'll ask a lot of stupid questions. So, let's go. Heather.
Let's go.
How you be, Heather?
I'm good. My cat is behind you, actually. So if you hear something, that's my cat.
I clearly have not been getting enough sleep, because there was a moment where I was like, your cat's behind me? What? I was like about to look. And I was like, oh, I see what you did there. You're too used to making like YouTube videos where you're actually like you have that sense of space. Normally that's not how we discuss these things.
You know what I mean.
Sorry.
Jelly bean.
We're both having issues clearing our throats, you guys, so just FYI, we might be making a lot of weird sounds in this episode. Speaking of weird sounds, Heather just showed me this video a couple minutes ago of this little girl singing the "Do You Want to Build a Snowman" song from Frozen, which, by the way, that song gets stuck in my head all the time, and I've never actually heard more than like 3 lines of it.
Really?
So, no, I've never heard the whole thing, and so I just walk around saying, "Do you want to build a snowman?" over and over again.
You should sing it one day.
I'll have to just that line, or
no, like the whole song.
Sounds good. I'm into it. Do you sing, Heather?
Maybe.
That sounds like a yes to me.
I used to be in school choirs a lot.
Oh yeah?
Nothing like no plays or anything. And now I just give these really good performances in my shower in my car.
Troll Cat's a big fan.
Not actually. Oh. My cats get really distressed when I sing. Really distressed. They both crowd me and they love me and they nuzzle me. Like, I think they think I'm dying. I'm not joking.
So, have you seen that video of and maybe I've asked you this before, I don't know, but of the little baby who hears his mom sing and just starts bawling?
Yes.
That I don't know what's with that man baby, but it cracks me up. It's so weird. Children aren't supposed to be that emotional about it, but I guess that's your cats too.
I guess so. A lot of people are like, that baby has such a pure soul. He understands the beauty. And I was like, no, I really think it's distressing him. I don't think he's okay.
I don't know. I don't speak baby. So I'm not about to say one way or another what that baby was feeling. But it was pretty hilarious nonetheless. Also, other people being in pain is entertaining, so it's fine. I like watching babies be in pain. That's the worst. I don't mean that. I don't mean that, guys. I'm not a baby person. The
video wasn't funny because she was in pain. It was funny because she was concentrating so hard on singing and distracting herself.
Yeah, so this girl is I don't know what she did to herself, but are they bandaging her, or are they
splinter out of her knee or her leg?
Oh, okay. Somehow I missed the explanation of exactly what was happening in there. I just see this poor girl is having something done that you would think was major surgery or amputation or something, and she is trying so hard to just not think about it by singing this, and she's just crying,
screaming.
Yeah, screaming. She is somewhere between a 2003 screamo band and Anne Hathaway in Les Mis, and it's so good.
So much. She says, "Okay, bye." I die every time. Every time. time.
It was so cute. I gotta give it to her. Oh, and, I always appreciate kids who just show all that emotion. I had a lot of older brothers, so I couldn't, go for it like that. I remember one time I was playing softball with a whole bunch of older people. I had to have been, 4 or 5 years old, right? And there was a softball field across the street from my house, and I was playing with a bunch of, middle-aged men. They were like, oh, how cute, we'll let this little girl play with us. But at one point, I was running, and this guy tripped over me, and the field was made of gravel, not clay, because they were clearly trying to kill us. And I, peeled off the top layer of my knee. It was just, gone. And so I go running across the street to my family, who are all sitting on the porch, and I'm like, oh, God! And I'm like, And my brother Eric at the time was in, EMT training, and I go running up to him, I'm like, and there's gravel and everything, and he picks up my knee, and he's looking at it, and he's like, oh, you know what we need to know about this? And he just slaps it hard as he can. Just wham! That was his response, and this is why I don't cry about things, because
what
you
did
get
your mom
slapped. Probably laughed, I don't know.
I'm going to have to talk with your brother.
Yeah, I'm sure my mom, scolded him while trying not to laugh. All I remember is just, white, hot, blinding pain.
We're having a talk.
Yeah, good luck with that. That
Give
guy
me
is...
his contact info. I am going after him.
Heads up, Eric, you may be a 40-something weightlifter, but you got nothing on HFED when she gets her bear on.
That's right.
Yeah. So that was a really cute video. We'll post that on the blog. We're not going to play it for you because out of context, it just sounds like a kid screaming. And you may be on your commute or I don't know, listening before bedtime or something. And which would be a bad idea because I don't think we're particularly soothing. But regardless, that would be a little much. So what do you feel like talking about first, Heather, on the agenda?
Oh, do you want to do something big or something sort of big?
I asked you, Heather. This is your one responsibility.
Yeah. Let's do the songs.
Oh, the songs. Okay. These are really fun. So let's just play. We'll play the clip of Neil Patrick Harris and Jason Segel, and then we'll just go straight into the clip of Hugh Jackman, and then we'll talk about it. So there's our clip. Jason Segel and Neil Patrick Harris. This obviously isn't the first time they've done the confrontation. You've seen them do it before, right? You'd never seen that before? Oh, that's why they're at the beginning of the clip, they're like, oh, it's been a while since we've done this. Because they've done it on Rachel Ray, and I think it's a thing they would do on set just to amuse everybody. And it's great, right?
It's so good.
Yeah. Are you a Les Mis fan? This is a complicated question.
I have an unpopular opinion.
I don't know if there is an unpopular opinion on, well, unless it's like if you're talking about the movie, I think that can be 50-50. If you're talking about the play/book on a whole and you dislike it, yeah, you probably have an unpopular opinion. I
never saw the play. I saw the movie.
Okay.
And I hated the movie. I was so rude in the movies. The person I was with, I was like, is it over yet? Are we done?
Heather!
And they were like, shh. And I was like, this is torture. I hate this. I hate this so much.
That is...
It was Russell Crowe.
I mean, Russell Crowe... Well, here's my thing. I think Russell Crowe, acting-wise, is fine. In fact, I think he's a great actor. But when it comes to singing, not so much. But I think my thing with Les Mis is that, they were doing the whole live singing thing with a bunch of actors, not, well, I guess Hugh Jackman is a... You were looking off. I'm like, is the cat behind me? Some of them are kind of classically trained in some ways, but I think they were going for sort of the realism of it and everything. In which case must have been Russell Crowe can't sing. Pfft, who cares? It's fine. It's a little distracting.
Yeah,
I will give you that. But I cried through that 90% of that movie.
Just for Anne.
Just for you're an Anne Hathaway fan.
Yeah.
You're a rarity.
I love her.
You're like some sort of wild beast. I must paint you.
She's beautiful and talented and beautiful and lovely. She just threw my phone off the table.
She sensed you were going to start singing in a second. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not a half a hater, as they say, but right now, people are super into hating her.
Why?
Well, she's kind of like the anti-J-Law, and you know how people are. You can only have one female star who's likable at a time.
Nope.
And so where, like, Jennifer Lawrence is, like, the, like, real and all that kind of stuff, Anne Hathaway comes across as very rehearsed and overly sincere and things like that. And so people are like, meh. And I'll grant she can be a little grating sometimes at award shows and things like that, but she'll always be Mia Thermopolis to me, so she's got this special place in my heart.
She worked really hard to get where she is, and she did it well, and they can eat it. So, there.
Indeed. I'm just, don't shoot the messenger here. I'm just saying, this is a thing that goes on now. There's, like, tons of articles and stuff about it. I'm sorry I keep eating M&Ms. I need to, like, move them because they taste so good. I just keep putting them in my mouth. Really?
Yeah.
I think it's making me
just hear my cat.
Yeah, it's just like right now, there's a lot of hate against her. And so there's all these articles on HuffPo and Salon and yada yada about why people dislike her. But she was wonderful in that. And I was like about to fight a friend who was just like, oh, when she sang that song, it was so stupid and terrible. What is going on?
She just knocked my water everywhere.
Do you need to go dry off?
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Oh, cat!
I have to get a towel.
You go get a towel.
Is that okay?
Yeah, you do that.
I'm really sorry. I'm so sorry. Be right back. Okay. What you didn't see is that she wasn't near my cup. My cup was next to me. She was in the corner of the table, and she reached and went like that, and then left.
She just like drops mic, leaves.
Did you see the water spray up? Did you see it?
If I had been like paying closer attention to what was happening, I'm sure I would. We may be able to see that in the YouTube video.
It was like a... Yeah!
Cats are douchebags, Heather. You just gotta come to terms with that.
I'm really sorry about that.
It's fine. It gave me time to eat more M&Ms. So, nice. There's that. So Neil Patrick Harris and Jason Segel. I think that is wonderful. And I need a friend who I do this with.
I would do it. If I knew the words, I would do it with you.
Maybe you should learn the words. And then in an episode,
I would do it.
We can do this. Yes! Who are you gonna... am I Javert or Valjean?
Whoever you want to be.
Which one of us is, like, more of a villain? Probably me. I said I hate babies or something like that.
Yeah, you.
So I'm Javert. You're Valjean. We'll work on this.
Which one is which?
Valjean is Hugh Jackman. Javert is Russell Crowe. Wait, you've never...
Which one is
Jason in that? Segel? Jason Segel is doing Valjean, and NPH is Javert.
So I'm Jason Segel?
You're Jason Segel.
Yes.
Yep. It's what I've always wanted. Just as a side note, like we don't do those. I just saw Muppets Most Wanted. Jason Segel made me think of that because the first
he loves Muppets.
Well, he wrote the first one and was in the first Muppets. I don't know if he wrote this one.
And he did the puppet show in Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
I have a very vague recollection of that movie. Yeah.
That's one of the funniest movies ever.
I don't remember thinking so at the time, but I don't know that, like, here's, like, all those guys who are in those movies, like, I love them as people, and then when they make movies, I'm like,
He wrote that movie!
Yeah.
It was so good!
I probably need to rewatch it. I watched it on HBO, like, a long time ago, and Yeah, so I don't know. But okay, he writes movies and maybe they're good, maybe they're not. But I loved Muppets. And did you see Muppets Most Wanted yet?
Nope.
It's really cute. And there's like a ton of, you know who, I can't decide whether I should ruin this cameo for you.
Yes, you can.
It's Hiddles.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Like, really quickly. A lot of the cameos in the movie are just, like, someone appearing and then they're gone. Like, they don't say anything or they say one word and then, like, they leave. That's it. And so Tom Hiddleston plays, like, Escapo or something like that, and he's in a talent show, and like he like does like a magic trick and then tries to run away and then gets like tackled, and that's it. Then he's never in the movie again. It was so cute. So that should help you really want to go see.
Oh,
huh?
Remember last week we talked about the Pirate Fairy?
Yeah, the Pirate Fairy.
It's a Tinkerbell movie.
I figured that out yesterday too.
I saw it on a commercial and I was like,
oh! Yeah. So the Pirate Fairy is actually a pirate fairy.
Yeah.
He is not somehow the Pirate Fairy. I was trying to figure out how that would work, mostly because I was like, this is this close to being like a slur.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing when we talked about it.
Yeah, because it was like if he had wings or something, I'd be like, okay, but like he's just singing. I'm like, whoa. Hold on now, Disney. But no, yeah, it's like a Tinkerbell movie. So I don't like those. Have you ever seen any of those Tinkerbell movies? Do you like them?
All of them.
You've seen all of them? When I was a nanny, I watched those. There's something creepy about there's something creepy about the animation in those, and I don't know. Maybe they're like a little too girly for me too.
I like it.
You're allowed to like it.
I want to be one. I want to be the one with the dark hair.
Is there only one with dark hair?
There's only one with black hair. She has long black hair.
In
a blue dress.
Gotcha.
I think. Oh, wait, no, there might be another one who's very sassy.
So what's more important to you, that you're the dark-haired one or the sassy one?
I don't know.
Deep questions with Corrigan and Heather. But then we have this great clip. And Hugh Jackman's like everywhere right now promoting X-Men First Class. I was watching Best Week Ever on VH1, which I did not know was still on. I thought that ended like a decade ago. But he was also on some like tattoo show, and people were showing him tattoos of himself, like as Wolverine. And he was like really into it. He was like, every time he saw one, he'd be like, oh yeah, that's great.
I like him a lot.
I do. Like, the thing is, on Best Week Ever, they were making fun of him for reacting that way, but what are you supposed to do? Be like, oh, dude, you're a creep. Like, you have to act like you think it's awesome that people have you tattooed on them. You can't just be like, wow, fans, you're weird. But good effort.
He seems like such a nice person.
Yeah, and have you seen, like, his family?
No.
His wife is, like, way older than him. And, like, he does not care. Like, him and Pierce Brosnan are both like this, where they're, like, these dudes who are, like, all svelte, and they clearly spend a lot of time working out, and they never indulge and stuff like that. And then they have wives who are, like, big, curvy women, and, like, they just dote on them everywhere they go. Like, you always see pictures of Pierce Brosnan and Hugh Jackman just, like, all up in their wives' business, like, hugging and smooching on them. Yeah, it's the best thing in the world. It just, like, I love that. They could have anybody, and they think the epitome of beauty is their gorgeous, curvaceous wives. And in Hugh Jackman's
case, that makes me love him more.
Right? Yeah. And so in this clip from this BBC radio thing, they just give him, like, the, gosh, what's that opening, that Who Am I song? Maybe it's called Who Am I? I don't know the names of songs from Les Mis. And just in case anyone thinks I'm not a fan, I have seen it about a bajillion times in all its forms. But I don't know names of things. But they changed all the words to have to do with, like, him and him as Wolverine. And he's just such a good sport about it. Even when, like, he cracks at the end of it, he's just like, nope, not today.
Then he recovers, though, and he's like,
yeah.
Did it.
He didn't give up on it. Let that be a lesson. Don't give up.
I like how he said his name in it. That's when I started to laugh, when he pronounced his own name. He was like, Jackman.
Yeah, Jackman. I wonder if he says it that way normally, or if it was just for, like, the rhyme scheme. Like, he's like, I'm Hugh Jackman.
Jackman.
Say it in your Australian accent now, you know.
Jackman. Nope. Oh, I'm so sorry, Australia.
There's nothing like Australia. There's no. Do they have those commercials where you live?
No.
Oh,
I thought you were
I just sound ridiculous.
Really excited.
I'm just really excited. That's my way of apologizing to the Australians. There's nothing like Australia. They're cute commercials. I don't know if that's like a song they sing there, or if they're just like, Americans will believe anything. But it's a great commercial. Yeah, Hugh Jackman singing the Wolverine song is glorious. BBC Radio always has the best things. Have you seen the one where they give like an actor and like an intern or a radio show host a cup of water, well, many cups of water, and they have to hold the water in their mouth while the presenter reads like news from the week that sounds like innuendo, and they have to try not to laugh and spit it on the other person?
No.
It's the best. So it's like they always end up... That would be really difficult to do from here, Heather.
We'll cover our stuff.
But the idea, although it could be pretty funny anyway, just coat everything in plastic. And like this. The idea is that they're sitting across from each other, so whenever they laugh, it's just like straight in the other person's face. Just... and it's glorious. I don't know. Maybe we can find a way to do this.
If we ever meet, we should do that.
That's true.
I'm definitely just going to spit, though. I don't laugh.
There's like no one even reads anything, and there's just spitting at me. I've been waiting to do this for months.
I'll be like one of those fountains. Like...
I feel good about that. I'm willing. I'm ready. I'll wear a poncho.
You're so gross.
Yes.
I'm daydreaming about doing this to you, and it's messed up. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
This will come as a surprise to no one. So yeah, there's that. That was a nice little interlude. We are going to sing the confrontation. You guys should keep track of this and just hold us accountable. We're going to sing the confrontation, and do you want to build a snowman? And we're going to spit at each other. Maybe with someone reading something to inspire it, or maybe we're just going to spit at each other. We'll see. Okay, let's ooh, it's so tough. There's so many good things to talk about. What do you think should come next?
What are the choices?
So we've got J.K. Rowling, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Wil Wheaton to discuss.
Ooh. Let's do J.K. Rowling.
Okay, J.K. Rowling, which does not have video. This is just an announcement. J.K. Rowling is now... she's got a 3-movie deal for a trilogy of films on her Fantastic Beasts book, which isn't really a story, right? It's more like an encyclopedia.
I guess.
I remember this coming out. I very quickly, I don't know. I'm not we've talked about this before. I'm not a huge fan of these like peripheral J.K. Rowling things that are still within the universe of Harry Potter. I just want to like sever. But yeah, somehow they're going to make 3 films based off of this. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I didn't get excited. I was just kind of like, oh, okay, well.
Which makes me sad. Like, as someone who dedicated so many years of my life to Harry Potter, to going to midnight premieres, for the books and the movies, for debating, for having Harry Potter tournaments, all this kind of stuff. I want to be excited every time I hear that J.K. Rowling is doing something. And instead I'm like, ugh. Not again.
And she doesn't, I don't know, maybe it was just because of the article, but she didn't even seem that excited about it. She was just like, oh, this is going to be a cool keepsake for my kids.
Yeah.
Or something, right?
And essentially it was like someone else came up with it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just kind of like, oh, someone approached me, and I was like, yeah, I guess we could do that, and bam, it was done. So yeah, even she's not really putting effort into it. I don't remember if we discussed this last time we talked about J.K. Rowling, but the thing is, like, you have to like her because she gives away so much money to the poor. So there's that whole thing. And yeah, I'm sure she's a wonderful human being, but it's just like, I want you to stop. Like, write more. She wrote Casual Vacancy, which I haven't read yet and has mixed reviews. I'm like, write more of that stuff. You're a grown up. You have a bajillion dollars. You don't have to keep writing Harry Potter. You're not in danger of, like, losing money. You're the richest woman in the UK. Well, second now. But for real.
Who's richer?
Well, the Queen.
Oh.
Yeah. That was the thing, is that she was the richest woman in the UK, but then she gave away so much money that she is now second to the Queen.
I feel like that makes the Queen look kind of bad. Doesn't it?
I guess. I mean, also that they pass down through lineage the entire reign over the area. It kind of makes the Queen look bad, but
I really want a crown jewel thing, though.
What was I watching? Oh, maybe that was the premise of Muppets Most Wanted. I was like, I was just watching something about crown jewels.
They're really pretty.
Yeah, this is true. They don't just hand those out, though, Heather.
I know. I just really would like to touch one.
Just be in its space.
You're touching time.
Yeah, that's true. I love that whole concept. I mean, that's like any form of, like, really historical artifact, you know? You're just like, oh my gosh, this is...
Like, people died for those. Like,
right?
Right? But also, they're made of things that are beyond older than us. Like, the jewels on... It's like time and time and time and time.
Yeah, it's a mix of that, like it being just, like, yeah, time and all that, and then just, like, the value as well. Like, putting your hands on something that, like, yeah, like, people died for, that's, like, worth more than money really, like, can even conceptualize. We sound like stoners right now.
No, we don't. We sound very smart and passionate.
Yes, this is true, which tends to be a stoner tendency. No, it's so cool. That makes me think, also, just thinking of British old things. Did you read about the whole bubonic plague thing, the Black Death?
Is there a new one?
There's new news about this, that they managed to, like, dig up a whole bunch of bones of people who died and it was for some weird reason, like they were building, like, a mall or something, you know. They dug up all these bones of people who died from the Black Death, and they realized there's no way that it was spread by rat fleas, which is what has conventionally been thought of the Black Death, which was what makes it a bubonic plague, is, you know, spread by the bites or whatever, that it had to have been spread by breath, by airborne. It had to be airborne, which means that what we've been calling the bubonic plague for all this time is actually a pneumonic plague. You're just staring at me. I'm sorry, that was really geeky.
No, you had me terrified. I was waiting for you to be like, which means now that we've dug up the bones, back. Somehow it's... Yeah, that's what... And then you were like...
Well, no, that was why they were...
changed.
They were comparing it because these plagues do still happen, and there was just one in Africa, and so they were trying to figure out, like, the, you know, comparing between the two plagues, and then they were like, what? And so, yes, they can still happen. Pneumonic plagues do happen. But an interesting fact also from that is that 6 out of every 10 people in England died during the Black Death. I should stop talking about this. I'm so sorry.
It is distressing me.
I know, and I can see it. This is, like, my college roommate and I used to, like, freak ourselves out, like, reading about the bird flu.
I know.
This is on par. So I apologize. You're not going to get a pneumonic bubonic
Don't jinx it.
or flu.
I thought you said I'm not going to get it. What if I get it?
That's on me. I'm sorry. That's my bad. My B. Gosh, what's happier than plagues? J.K. Rowling, Fantastic Beasts. So I don't know. I'm not... that's not a lot happier than plagues. And crown jewels. Crown jewels. Yeah, this is... I don't know. I'm the thing that bothers me most is that I'm probably going to go see it.
I'll see it.
Yeah. I am locking myself in for 3 films that I don't really want to see.
I'll lock in for 1 and then see how I feel about it.
I'm so weird about that stuff. Like, I feel like I need to, and I'll go at midnight and just be ridiculous, especially because nobody does that anymore. Nobody goes to midnight showings. It's especially because they make like 8 p.m. ones and things like that. So it's always like I get there like 3 hours early and I'm just like sitting in a lawn chair by myself. A bunch of teenagers judging me. I don't know. It's just, yeah.
Our theaters have this thing now where you reserve your seats.
Oh, that's right, because we were talking about that with like the arc light and everything. Yeah, and how they did that in South Africa too. Which is, yeah, that's just
convenient.
It's convenient, but it also diminishes the urgency of the midnight showing, because half the point is that you want to get there super, super early and wait in line with all the people like dressed like characters and stuff like that. But if you know where you're going to sit, why would you get there early?
True.
Yeah. Although, like, I would take that over the way they do it here, where they just, like when we went to see Catching Fire, and it was just like, there's 20 theaters playing this, just run. Just get in there and run and try to find space for your friends. That was the worst thing ever. Tiny Wine could not fix it. I don't have anything more to say on that. I felt like we should address J.K. Rowling.
So now, Wil Wheaton or Ninja Turtles? Both I'm excited about.
All right, let's start with Will.
Okay.
Here's the clip. I will not lie, I teared up while
Really?
he was telling her this whole thing. Because it was just like, it was so from his heart, you know, that he's like, basically, and it's off the cuff. Like, it's not like he rehearsed this. This girl asks him this question, and he so passionately wants her to understand, like, A, this will pass. It'll get better than this. B, it's not really about you. And C, love what you love. You know? He was so perfect and wonderful.
He chose his words very carefully. You could see him choosing them.
Exactly. You know, and talking about like what the kindest thing you can do when you're on the receiving end of that kind of like bullying is, you know, like talking like, pity that person. They're probably taking out on you what they can't take out on the real cause of their anger or hurt. And you're just like,
I'm going to tell you a story. I don't know if I should tell this story.
No, tell the story.
I don't know that anyone knows this story.
Ooh,
at all.
It's a Fancave exclusive?
Oh, I might regret it. We might take this out.
Okay, we'll listen and we'll see. But I think it'll be good. I trust.
In 5th grade, I used to ride the bus, of course. And there was this boy named Patrick. And I used to bully him, like legit bully him. Not physically, but verbally, you know. He had glasses, and my home wasn't awesome, so I definitely was taking stuff out on him. And one day there was this boy named Peter, who was a year older than us. He started picking on Patrick, and something like seeing him do exactly what I was doing to this boy, like snapped my head, kind of.
Yeah.
And I went at this kid Peter like a lion.
Wow.
And then after that, I apologized to Patrick, and he was mine after that. Like, he was my territory. You know what I mean? Like, nobody is mean to this kid.
Yeah.
And so me and Peter used to fight after that, but it was like bully versus bully.
Yeah, right. You're kind of on the same level instead of picking on some poor helpless kid. No, that's a
I
good
found
story.
him like when Facebook became a thing. I looked him up because I hold on to things for a very long time.
A lot of us do.
And I always held on to the guilt from that time. And I found him and I wrote to him and I was like, I don't know if you remember me, but I was a douchebag to you in 5th grade. And I'm so sorry. And he's like, no, I do remember you. Thank you for helping me with Pete. Like, he was so nice. And we made plans to go bowling. Like, but Wil, tying it back to Wil, people are going to think I'm a terrible person. I'm not a terrible person. No. I was briefly, but then I stopped. What he said is right.
Yeah.
About why people do those things.
Exactly.
He was 100% right. It's not about you at all.
Right. They're dealing with something else, and it's just misplaced anger, hurt, whatever.
I don't know that I want that going on.
It's good. No, that's such a wonderful thing to share. I don't know. I think, like, because there are times I can, like, remember.
I'm shaking, can you see?
Oh. Applause for Heather. No, there are times, like, I can remember, not specifically, like, incidents that were, like, repeating like that, but that, like, I did douchey things as a kid, or, like, made fun of someone or things like that, where normally I was actually, like, the kid who insisted on hanging out with all the, like, really dorky kids because I felt bad. But occasionally there would be those moments where it was like, I do, like, a really mean thing, and I know it was because I was insecure about something, or, like, something else was going on. And it's like, when with kids, they don't understand that. Like, they don't understand their own motivation. They're not sitting there like, because my dad said this to me, I'm gonna go do that to that kid. They're not processing it that actively. But also, like, to be able to try to understand that as the kid who's on the receiving end of it is so hard. And I wish that, like, more little kids were, like, Wil Wheaton fans, so that this could just, like, circulate, you know, and everyone would see it and understand, because he put it so well. He did. So eloquently, and every kid needs to hear that. That was, like, the best It Gets Better campaign ever, and it just was, like, at a con. And which, like, cons are also, I think, in and of themselves just, like, the best place to realize that everything gets better, and, you know.
What did he say? I loved what he said when he was like...
When he said, like, there's, like, 50,000 of us at this conference, and we're all doing really well, or something.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. Yeah, that really, like, drove it home. It's like, yes! Yes! Exactly! Like, yeah, just about everybody there probably went through the exact same things as kids, you know, and now they're hanging out together and enjoying the things they love, and even if it's only, you know, one day a year that they get to do that, they know they have that community, and there's the internet, which is a glorious place for such things. So it was just perfect. I met him once, and while I wish that I could have said that I said something really profound about how he touched my life or something like that, I actually just told him he was my first crush. It was embarrassing. It was like all that would come out of my mouth. It's just like, you were my very first crush when I was a little kid. He was like, that's really flattering, thank you. I was like,
oh, he's so polite.
Oh God, oh jeez, it is so bad. Yeah, the stupid things I say to people. Managed that. Just
I like
repeating
the other story with Urban.
Yeah, just repeating, you're my favorite. Just FYI, you guys, I have gotten better at this. I don't always say stupid things to celebrities now. I can actually have conversations, but I was just a baby making weird statements at people. I'm trying to I think those are the two most embarrassing, were the you're my favorite, and you're my first crush as a child. That's just not something you say to someone. You don't say that to a stranger. You know? Oh, it makes my head hurt.
You should come on our podcast. Come on our podcast, Wil Wheaton.
I know, right? Can you imagine? Explain more about his don't be a dick philosophy.
Yeah.
And how it gets better. Yeah. It's always like, I feel like when I was probably in 7th or 8th grade, I discovered his blog. It's like wilwheaton.net or whatever. And like at the time it was like he had like a following, but it wasn't like today. I'm like, man, if this were, what is that, like 1997 or whatever, we could totally get him on our podcast in an instant. And then being a geek got like kind of cool, and now it's like, oh, you're like fighting for your geek king here.
For your geek king.
Yes, he's the geek king. Felicia Day is the geek queen. That's just all there is to it. And like Chris Hardwick is like the jester.
I like Chris Hardwick a lot.
I go back and forth on Chris Hardwick.
Why? He seems like such a nice person.
He seems insecure, and that makes me nervous.
No.
Yeah. So it's like he's always got to like name drop and always bring everything back to himself every time he's like interviewing someone. It's like always like, let's make it the Chris Hardwick story. I'm not saying he's a bad person either. I enjoy going to his theater in Meltdown Comics, the Nerd Melt or theater, all that jazz, but he stresses me out a little bit.
Did you see when he did Talking Dead when his dad died?
Oh, I did. Yeah. That's when I was like, yeah, I love you. Oh, absolutely. That's what it's like. I don't think, obviously insecurity is not a reason that I wouldn't hang out with someone. Like, it just makes it so sometimes I don't enjoy watching him on things. I'm just like, oh, I can feel how hard you're trying. Yeah. And it stresses me out a little bit. But yeah, him and Craig Ferguson, I think, have done some of the best like eulogies for parents on television that just made you like, God bless you. God bless you. And like his whole Twitter feed that day. Ugh. He's so good. Also, I totally watched Singled Out when I was a kid. So
I did too.
Yeah. Which is one of those, we should add that to the everything is inappropriate file. Kids were not supposed to watch Singled Out.
No.
There's no way. But I actively was not allowed to watch that. I just went over to my next door neighbor Jenna's and watched it all the time. Oh yeah, I was not allowed to watch MTV. That was like the one ban of anything. I could watch it and things like that, but I was not allowed to watch MTV. So yeah, no Singled Out, but I was obsessed. Jenny McCarthy, my nemesis so now. But she was on my favorite show, Wahlburgers, the other day. Have you watched it yet? Would you not judge me until you watch it?
No, I will not watch it.
It is so good. And in this episode, the Wahlbergs' mom was trying to find like a present for Jenny, but she got really distracted, and so she like bought a whole bunch of stuff for her house and all this kind of stuff. And then like as they're checking out, like Donnie's like, you still haven't gotten anything for Jenny? She just grabs like a random like cheap clearance tea set and it's like, yeah, this is really nice. And puts it in the car. It's wonderful. Like, you know, it's all set up or whatever, but like they're so funny as a family that it's good times. Yeah, I enjoy them. I don't remember what we're talking about. Were we still on Wil Wheaton?
Wil Wheaton.
Okay, I wasn't sure if we had like moved past that and I forgot. Okay, so in terms of time-wise, this is a good time to then discuss the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles. Splinter taught them to be a ninja team. He's a radical rat.
I wanted to sing along, but I knew it was going to be out of sync if I did. So I danced. Hopefully that's enough, and I'm glad that happened. Trailer! That looks terrible. I'm just going to say it.
I'm seeing it.
I actually don't know if I'm going to say
I'm seeing
definitely that I'm seeing it. Okay, but what... Okay, here's one thing. Jordan Carlman, who writes for The Electric Feast, he did point out there's really no use griping about this because how good was it gonna be? And it's like supposed to be a movie for all ages, and it's made by Michael Bay. So like, I rant taking it with a grain of salt. All right. If you were over the age of 12, the original Ninja Turtles probably weren't masterpieces either.
Even
but
if,
behold, dear.
Yeah, they were never going to win awards, those movies.
Absolutely not. So I try to look at this as like, okay, these are they're aimed at kids-ish, but it's weird because it also has that thing that they're doing with comic book movies and superhero movies where they're trying to make it like dark and gritty too. So what I feel is weird about it is that mix of adultifying it and super kidifying it.
Well, the first TMNT movie was pretty...
It's pretty dark.
Yeah, with... Casey Jones was in the first one, right? And that was when Raph got really hurt and was in the bathtub, right?
Yeah, yep. That's
true. And I love that movie.
So I guess, okay. I can give you that.
Is Casey Jones going to be in it?
I don't know. It only matters if it's Elias Koteas still.
I loved him.
I did too. Oh man.
A lot.
Yeah. Big time. I was all about Casey Jones when I was a kid. It was probably like 75% of the reason I just watched that over and over and over again. Although I always had to borrow it from my brother because it was his VHS.
I'm going to talk to your brother.
This is a different brother. This isn't even the same one.
All the brothers.
I know. Talk to all the brothers. I have a world of complaints. But yeah, I don't know. Why is this a you will definitely see it movie?
Because of the nostalgia.
Okay.
I don't watch the new cartoons. I'm
the Nickelodeon ones.
Nope, I'm old school TMNT. But I had my first fictional character crush was Raphael. No lie. I used to think about hugging him. I wanted to hug him, like, really bad. I used to think about it. So, shush.
I'm sorry. I only laugh out of admiration.
But I really liked him a lot. And I love the show. And I want to see what happens with it because I want to see Raphael again.
I was like trying to think of like any similar thing I had that I could be like, no, it's fine. I totally. Prince Eric? I don't know. He was still human. So I'm sorry. I can't help you on this one.
Prince Eric!
He was sexy.
He was sexy, but he was a dick.
Well, yeah. I mean, at the end, when you really think about that story, he's not really a good guy. But regardless, your reason for seeing Ninja Turtles is like the reason I don't want to see it. Because it's like the nostalgia. I don't want to see it because I don't want to hug Raphael. I don't want to see it because of the nostalgia, because it's like I have this image of these movies, and no, they weren't as great as I remember them. But, you know, I don't want to remember them differently. So, like, making a new thing, especially because you've got cartoons, you've got comics, there's many ways you can sort of relive Ninja Turtles. I don't know. Although I do like William Fichtner, so it does have that going for it.
He's
also,
Shredder, right?
Yeah. And also, I am, like, obsessed with April O'Neil. Like, that's, like, my dream cosplay is to be April O'Neil. And
she doesn't look like April.
No, she doesn't look like April, and she's Megan Fox. And that's just, when I go to cons and all of a sudden I see people cosplaying as Megan Fox, I'm going to be very upset. I'm going to be very upset. You need the yellow jumpsuit. That's all I'm saying.
And the orange hair.
Orange hair. Ah! It's going to be really upsetting for me. So
I don't hate Megan Fox, though. I think she's beautiful.
She is beautiful. I think the issue is there more than that? And I don't know about that. The only thing I've seen where it was like marginally like, oh, maybe was Friends with Kids. Did you ever see that?
Mm-mm.
It's a weird, depressing movie. But she kind of just plays like exactly what you would imagine Megan Fox would be like in real life. And so I don't know.
She's a really nice voice, though, when she talks.
I can't really like...
Did you ever see the movie with Amanda Seyfried?
Was that the Diablo Cody one? Jennifer's Body?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I saw part of it on TV, but I have not seen the whole thing.
There's this scene where they kiss and they make out. I watched that scene over and over and over because it triggered my ASMR because of her voice and the way she touches her hair. And I was just like, oh, I love this. But
I would love to see you explain that, like someone just coming into the room and you're just like, rewind.
That's what I would do. I would just replay. So if anyone saw that, they would think I was into it. But her voice, and she's just like, she's like, don't be scared. Like her voice is so petite.
I'll have to check it out. I don't know. I've never really noticed her voice, so I'll get back to you on that. On whether I find her to have an ASMR voice. But, this is like my thing is I try not to like hate actresses in general because I think there's a lot of sexism that goes behind hating actresses. But there was a really funny article with her, and I don't remember what it was in, but I think it was like entitled Megan Fox Believes in Everything. And it was like she had done an interview with Rolling Stone, and throughout this whole thing, it's like she says she's like a Christian. Then she talks about like how like she believes in like Buddhism, and then she believes in like just all these different things. And it's like she has never met a philosophy that she rejected in her life. And so this whole article was just talking about all the weird like contradictory like life philosophies she has, and it's like the way they wrote it was hysterical. And I was like, okay, Megan Fox, you may not be the smartest cookie in the jar is not a phrase.
I like it, though.
Like, I don't know why there would be a smart cookie, but...
That's a saying, if someone's
I think that's a tough cookie.
Also, smart cookie.
All right, well, she may not be the smartest cookie in the jar, but I don't want to hate her or, like, think less of her as a human being because she isn't, like, super intellectual or whatever. Like, whatever. She's doing her thing.
Yeah, she's doing her thing.
Let Megan
Fox. If she wants to play with my hair, she can. That's
true. Megan Fox, should you ever decide to come play with Heather's hair, that's cool.
I'm okay with it.
Totally. Yeah, but I don't... This movie is a meh for me.
Is it a French meh?
It's not a French meh. It's just regular meh.
So that's like a 2 or a 3?
Yeah, I would give it about a 3, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, how about you?
I give it a...
It's like a 5, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. We're honing this. Yeah. This is the best scale ever.
It's the worst scale ever.
I'm gonna have to like make like a chart to put on my wall. Be like, here are the levels, so I don't forget. Let me go to like talk about a movie. I can be like, all right, no, this one's definitely a. By the way, I saw Grand Budapest Hotel.
You said last time Budapest.
I know, and I intentionally didn't this time.
Why?
Because I didn't want to make a thing of it. I did see Grand Budapest Hotel. I tried not to make a thing, and then you made it a thing. Also, because I feel like there's something about like the way they do accents and stuff in this movie that they're intentionally not making it like everyone just has the accent they have in real life. So if you're British, Irish, Australian, American, whatever, you just say things. So everyone says Budapest because there's no one from Budapest in it. But it was the first Wes Anderson movie that I have liked the first time I saw it.
You liked it?
I really liked it. Yeah.
Is it funny?
It's funny, but it's also like really dark, like, and surprisingly violent at certain points. Like there was one point where something happened that like everyone in the theater just screamed. Just
really?
Full on screamed. It was great. I was amongst them. But yeah, I really liked it. You haven't seen it yet?
Mm-mm.
I would recommend it.
The commercials didn't speak to me.
I can't remember if I even saw commercials really, but like with a Wes Anderson movie, I feel like commercials don't tell you anything except this is clearly a Wes Anderson movie. It looks like all the Wes Anderson movies. And so when you go, it's like, I don't know what it's going to really be about. Usually it takes me 2 viewings to appreciate them. The first time I hate it. I'm like, this is stupid and I'm wasting my time. And then the second time, when I know where it's going, I can like enjoy the ride. But this one's good like the whole time. So
I'll have to see it.
Yeah, I recommend it. It's good. There's a lot of good people in it, and it's another one that has like a lot of good cameos for like 3 seconds in them.
Oh.
Which is always fun. So, on that note, I think we've discussed everything and we can move on. We'll cut this off and then we will discuss The Walking Dead and put it up on YouTube separately so that we do not spoil anything for anyone. Sound like a plan?
Sounds like a plan.
So let's close out this here episode.
Okay.
As always, we thank you for listening to and now watching Electric Fan Cave on electricfeast.com. Make sure you subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube, Tumblr, whatever things you need to use in order to keep from missing a single moment with me and HFev. And don't forget, we love to hear from you, so put comments in our Tumblr Ask box, email us at electricfancave@gmail.com, comment on the blog at electricfeast.com, or hit us up on the Facebook at facebook.com/electricfeast. You guys, there's a lot of ways to get a hold of us. Don't let this moment pass you by. Until next week, I'm Donatello.
I'm Raphael.
And we'll see you around. For people to watch.
Your hair's crazy.
I'm sitting crisscross applesauce and my foot fell asleep. Ha. Oh.
Addition of applesauce made that.
Is that not how you say it?
I used to when I was little. That was adorable.